Hey guys, welcome to my presentation about the integumentary system in moles. Specifically, how do moles affect the body and the integumentary system itself. So before we begin, let me clarify our objectives. To summarize all this yapping, basically I'm going to tell you the function and structure of the integumentary system with a 3D model I created, the importance of the structures for moles specifically, and I'm going to connect moles on homeostasis and connect moles on mental health and how they affect the person in a clinical setting. So yeah, let's get to that. Hey guys, this is my 3D model that I created to explain the integumentary system. Think of it like kind of like a documentary kind of. And I'm gonna be yapping quite a lot for the next few minutes, so I do apologize if you get bored, but it's just necessary for you to learn. Alright, anyways, first we got the epidermis, as you can see up here. It's the outermost layer of skin. Provides waterproof barrier, produces keratin, and protects against pathogens and UV light. And now we got that little meaty center. It's a little disgusting if I'm gonna be honest, but it's the dermis. It's the middle layer. It contains connective tissues, blood vessels, nerves, sweat glands, and hair follicles, and it provides strength and flexibility to the integumentary system. And finally, we got the third layer here. It's the hypodermis, otherwise known as the subcutaneous layer. It's the deepest layer. It's made of fat and connective tissue. That's why it's kind of like gelatinous in a way. And it insulates the body and cushions internal organs. Moving on for the hair. As we can see, we have hair shafts, hair right here. Click four little hairs, just a few of them. And these protect the scalp from UV radiation, provides insulation, and aids in sensing light touch. And anchoring them are the hair follicles. You can't fully see them, but I guess you can kind of see here. They anchor each hair to the skin, and then they're associated with sebaceous oil glands and erector pill muscles. And then six, I have nails. I unfortunately do not have the 3D models for nails, but you could imagine me like wiggling my little fingers in the air in front of the camera, even though you can't see me for the nails. But they protect the tips of fingers and toes, enhance sensation, and assist in picking up small objects. Yeah, next we have the sebaceous slash oil glands. They secrete sebum slash oil that lubricates and waterproofs the skin and hair. And then we have the eccrine, also sweat glands, found all over the body. They regulate temperature through sweat evaporation. Apocrine, also sweat glands, found in armpits and groin, produce thicker sweat that when broken down by bacteria causes body odor. So that's the main reason why you smell a lot of the times, especially from the armpit. Ceruminous glands, found in the ear canal. They produce earwax. I don't have them here because this is like a normal body model, not like an ear model specifically. But they're found obviously in the ear canal. They produce earwax to protect the ears from dust, microbes, and dehydration. Mammary glands, I obviously can't show you that, but they modify sweat glands that produce milk in females, so imagine that as you will. Erector pili muscles, they're tiny muscles attached to hair follicles. They contract to make hair stand up. Think of goosebumps sometimes, like whenever you get chills, like your hair stands up, and they also help trap heat. Blood vessels of dermis, they deliver oxygen to oxygen/nutrients to skin cells, help regulate body temperature through vasodilation and vasoconstriction. Nerve endings, sensory receptors, detect touch, pressure, pain, temperature, and vibration. Finally, we have lymphatic vessels in skin. They help defend against infection by draining excess fluid and transporting immune cells. Now, finally, to bring this all together, all these functions, how do they work together? How do all these functions help each other? So to give you like a short little rundown, I'm gonna start with the skin layers. The epidermis forms the protective outer layer, but relies on the dermis for nutrients. And then the hypodermis connects the skin to deeper tissues, providing insulation and cushioning. Together, these guys all work together, and they create a continuous defense system. Hair follicles, and sebaceous glands. Hair follicles anchor hair into the dermis. Sebaceous/oil glands connect the hair follicles, releasing sebum that lubricates both hair and skin. This connection prevents dryness and helps waterproof the skin. Going forward now, we have eccrine sweat glands work with blood vessels. Sweating cools the skin surface while vasodilation increases heat release. Erector pili muscles connect with the cold, making hair stand up, goosebumps, which works well with hair to help trap warm skin against the air. Together they regulate body temperature/homeostasis. They aid homeostasis. Nerve ending and skin layers. Sensory receptors is the dermis. Detect touch, pressure, pain, and temperature. These connect to the nervous system, allowing the skin to act as an early warning system for injury, heat, or harmful stimuli. Finally, least but not last, last but not least, immune and lymphatic connections. The skin acts as the first line of defense against pathogens. Lymphatic vessels in the dermis transport immune cells, linking the integumentary system with the immune system for infectious defense. Alright, now that we finally got through all of that, we could finally get to the meat and bones, as they say, about my moles, or moles in general. So first, how are moles formed in the integumentary system, which is objective 2? You might be questioning this little guy, but here we go. Honestly, it's really simple. So basically, there's these things in the integumentary system called melanocytes, and these melanocytes, they are special cells in the epidermis that produce melanin, the pigment that gives skin its color. And then normally melanocytes are spread evenly throughout the skin, as you can see here. Like that's what makes your skin like very even, um, not too very too much. And then a mole is formed when melanocytes cluster together, as seen in here, and they generate a bunch of melanin until eventually they create a mole on the surface. And yeah, these clusters create visible pigmented spot on the skin. Furthermore, moles can change over time. They may get darker, lighter, become raised, or even disappear. Most are pretty harmless, but sometimes they change in size, shape, or color, and those are big warning signs against potential like skin cancer. Finally, for our third objective, we have do moles affect homeostasis? And to put it very shortly, they don't really. Moles are obviously just very small spots on the skin where melanocytes group together, they cluster together, and they don't really affect homeostasis too much. However, mutations to those moles can cause damaging skin tissue, cancer, and the spreading of the mole to other organ systems. As you can tell, that is very bad. Skin, obviously, damaging skin tissue will affect homeostasis because that part of the skin will get damaged. It can regulate body temperature as well. Cancer, obviously, cancer is pretty bad. It'll worsen homeostasis. And spreading of the mole to other organ systems will help affect different things. So, like the mole going to like in your skin is also very bad for you. And moving on. Here's where I'm gonna show objective 4. It's a small little like little comic strip that I made myself. It's just 6 pages long, so nothing too big. It'll just go over how mental effect, like how moles affect mental health a little bit for a person. And so instead of like a mole, I thought that'd be a little boring, so I did like an actual like mole, like an animal mole, to kind of represent for the girl. You can take that as you will. So here the girl is looking in the mirror. She looks all fine, right? Like she doesn't seem too bad. And then let's just pretend her mole's like on her face here. The mole is just like really happy looking, like they're happy together. Um, and then page 3. Here we have her with her mole. She thinks these other girls are really like making fun of her, like they're surprised about her mole, like she's like getting anxiety, she's getting a little doubting, like her mental's a little bit not in the game, you know. And then we go down. She starts to feel really sad, you know, like really anxious, really worried about her appearance. Nothing, it's not really affecting her too much physically because the mole is like perfectly round, perfectly fine, not too bad. Then she goes to her friends. She's like, "Oh, I have a mole too," and they become friends, and they're all friends together. So to give like a quick little summary of that, while normally moles don't affect the health of a person, moles might affect someone's self-esteem. Because moles are could be on the face, could be on the body. They might think it's weird. They might think other people think it's weird. It might make them anxious. And potentially moles may also cause anxiety, depression if they are irregular, and might potentially be cancer. So let's get to that. For our last objective here, how might moles affect a person's appearance in a clinical setting? Normally moles look pretty nice like this. They're round. They don't pose a serious concern in clinical settings, nothing too important. They only really possess a risk if they break one of the A, B, C, D, E rules, which are really easy to learn. A is for asymmetry. B is for border, like the border a little weird. Color is they have multiple colors, not one shade like this in the image. And then D is diameter, greater than 6 millimeters. And evolution, maybe the mole will change over time. Why is this a concern? Because if the mole is like does not follow any of these A, B, C, D rules, or they are affected by any of these, then it's potentially a sign of melanoma, a skin cancer, which would be very bad. And treating ABCD rule helps detect melanoma early, and it helps it be treated preemptively. This is a picture of my own finger, as you can see here. It passes the test perfectly. Also the image is a bit blurry. This is on my left finger. Yeah. So it passes the ABCDE rules. Hopefully I don't have skin cancer. These are my 5 questions for the Google Doc. Obviously, I'm not going to go over that. I do not have much time left, but you can take a screenshot here. Here's all the answers. And here are my sources used in APA format. And basically, this is a little summary. There are various parts of the integumentary system that all connect and help us. Moles are formed from melanin clusters created by melanocytes. Moles don't have an effect on homeostasis typically unless they're abnormal. Mentally, moles may be a source of insecurity for people and of concern if they are found to be irregular. And moles must pass through the ABCDE guidelines in order to be healthy and not be potentially skin cancer in a clinical setting. Thank you for listening to my yapping, and I hope you have a great day with presentations.